I've been at the Brain Wellness Spa since I was about 15, now 26, nearly 27. I came for severe anxiety and what was like a mild case of depression at the time. Wasn't doing very well at school. Was actually probably heading more towards a path that wasn't going to get me very far. And Terry brought me right back up to achieving what I needed to, did my nursing and got to where I am today. So I'm very thankful for that one. Personally, I had a bit of trouble in regards to being quite severely bullied as well, which is another reason why I went to see Terry. It probably triggers it from when I was quite young. I had a rare version of a migraine, which means I would get really, really dizzy or really lightheaded. So imagine sort of wanting to faint. You have that blacking out feeling and you're passing out. The only difference is every time that happened, I'd vomit. So starting from the age of about 6 through to 13, it happened daily. I used to wear sunglasses in class. I used to wear sunglasses out of class. I had to wear it while I was driving. I couldn't look at artificial light. I couldn't look at natural light. Got really severely bullied for that. And that went on through to high school as well. And people were just laughing. People were tormenting. The teachers were tormenting me. The teachers were laughing. I was ridiculed by absolutely everyone that day. And the only people I had around me were my parents and my friends that were supporting me. So I look back on that day and it was horrible. Yeah, being a kid, you pull through it. But if you don't have that strength and motivation to get yourself back into the right area, it's really, really tricky to get there. And it took me a good 4 or 5 years before we realized Terry existed to get me there. So I'm really thankful she did, because that was just prolonging all the processes in between. So thank God we found Terry. I mean, it was 5 years too late, but she definitely pulled me out of that darkness and made me more comfortable as a person and a lot stronger. I was incredibly passive. So she's definitely created a better person in me than what I was originally. Obviously, meeting Terry, I've been able to pull myself out of situations. If something does bring me down, particularly in life, you get that no matter what age you are, I'm able to pull myself back up again, and that's the best part. So counselling and therapies, doctors, nothing really helped, and then Terry sort of pulled me out of the dark spell, so it's really good. Basically, yeah, she got me back on the right foot. So in year 10, I was flunking everything. I was heading down a really bad path with school. Not being rebellious, just wasn't motivated. And yeah, year 11, I pulled my socks up. And by year 12, I was getting A's and high standards and everything. And I pulled myself into an area where it managed to get me into uni and pass my nursing and go from there. So she's managed to sort of treat my life in a way, aside from anxiety and any stage of depression, which a lot of people obviously go through. She's pulled me into a way of achieving my goals without me realizing it by just coping with my own mechanism inside. So it's like a clock. I've just sort of got the gears grinding in the right way, and she finally put me in a position where I was able to realize what I wanted and that I needed to do it. At the end of the day, you do need to be mentally ready to do it as well. You need to be mentally prepared to take on the fact that you do have something that's pulling you down. The program's only going to work if you're willing to let it work. And I think that's the most important thing. If you come here saying it's not going to, then your willpower is going to stop you from doing that. Whereas I pulled myself into a place where I really needed it to work, and my parents really needed it to work. And it worked straight away. It was fantastic. It just gave you a sense of calm and reassurance and support. That was the main thing. So I definitely recommend it to anyone who, particularly younger, I think it's really important if you've got kids at all that are struggling at all, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's social issues, whether it's autism, anything, it can help significantly. It just brings you out of that little bit of a glimpse of being really passive and to yourself and pulls you out of that shell and brings you into a better person. And I definitely recommend it to anyone who is struggling with that. I came in when I was about, I'd say 12 weeks along pregnancy-wise. I myself being a very passive and not very strong person at the time, I can pull myself into some low mental points. So no matter where you are or what happens, you can always get into a bit of low point, particularly when your hormones are going all over the place. It's just not the most fun you could ever endure. Yeah. So came to see Terry, and she helped me get into a stage where I wasn't going to let myself have self-doubt about being a mum or being able to have this huge responsibility of looking after this tiny child and raising this tiny little thing to be a great person, which God forbid you hope can only be that. She The pregnancy was quite smooth. I had gestational diabetes, so I was quite all over the place with my my sugar levels. But she pulled my hormones up, so every time I slumped into a bit of a low point, I'd managed to pull myself up. So I came monthly, and then I came weekly closer to the end as I was getting a bit nervous or anxious about the pregnancy. It just helped me pull myself back into a position where this is happening and it's going to be fantastic no matter what happens. So I think that was the main thing. So obviously that was 2017. I came to see Terry in about May of 2017, and Annie, my daughter, who is nearly 2, was born in November. So we had a full couple of months ahead of us, and Terry pulled myself into a really good management routine. So I was able to go over the fundamentals of what being a mum was and what I had to achieve, what I needed to do, but mainly not so much for Annie, but for me to keep myself healthy and happy as well, because at the end of the day, that goes to the baby as well. If I'm not happy and healthy, she's not going to be happy and healthy. She's going to be what I'm feeling, and she'll see that as she gets older. So it's the last thing I wanted to do was have her be in that position. So, or be in the position I originally was in. So coming to Terry, obviously we had sessions. We went, like I said, monthly to weekly. And when she was born, she was the most peaceful, most loving, most caring little girl you've ever possibly met. And no matter who meets her, they always say she's such a content little soul. And yes, she has tantrums like any kid will. She's nearly 2, so she's definitely testing me. But she's such a contented child. She'll happily play by herself. She'll happily come up to anyone. She'll hug you. She'll kiss you. She'll say hello to everyone. She'll love kids. She loves animals. She's just such a happy, content baby. And Terry likes to call her designer baby. For very good reason too, because if you meet her, you'll understand that she is just a little godsend from above. She's a beautiful little thing. She sleeps like an angel. She eats like an angel. She poos, she eats, she sleeps. That's the main thing. So I think the Peaceful Pregnancy Program was definitely wonderful for that. She shows no signs of anxiousness. She's just such a social little butterfly. And like I said, a designer baby at that. So yeah, she's been really good for that one. And I thank Terry every step of the way for getting her into a positive little attitude as well, and making me happy and healthy throughout the pregnancy to let her be that. Yeah, she slept like a log from the start. She was about 3 to 5 weeks old. She was sleeping through the night for us. She still sleeps through the night for us. She feeds really well. She gets fussy over broccoli and some good vegetables, which they do. They notice that. But she's been a trooper from the start. Her personality really outshines her when you meet her. And like I said, I couldn't thank Terry enough for that, because I think it's helped just having the program, just settling her as well as me. And that's the main thing. She's been fantastic. We get so many compliments. We never get negativity come our way. If she's never screaming in a shop, she'll always wave and say hello. She'll sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. She's quite happy just to be around people. And so many people are baffled by that. If a kid is ever angry towards her, she just shrugs it off and says hello and just walks off and does her own thing. She pretends it doesn't happen. And I can only hope that she'll keep that mind strength with her as she gets a bit older and not let it get the better of her. She's so far she's been such a great little thing. And being with this program and helping me along, I can help myself to help her be a better person and achieve to be stronger, nothing like how I was, which is probably the main thing. But we often get so many compliments on just how well behaved and well socialized she actually is, and I don't think we would have been able to do that without both of us being in a good state. So yeah, it's a fantastic program. Would definitely recommend it, particularly as a first-time mum or even as a second-time mum. I'm currently coming into the program again with our second child, which is also due November. Seems to be our favorite time of the month. And I'd recommend it 100%, particularly to get those doubts off your chest and any negative feelings, because those negativity goes straight into a child. And if you're going to be negative or anxious around it as it's growing up, the last thing you want is to put that on them. And I'd recommend it 100%. It's just such a good program. Like I said, she's a beautiful girl. If I can only hope that happens again for this one, and just getting yourself happy and healthy too. It really helps. So I'd definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to.